All right, so this is Kimberly. Kimberly is approximately 8 months out of a bear repair with Dr. Petropoli. Kind of tell me what the process from start to finish as far as the range of motion, the stiffness, etc. has been for you.
Well, from the day of surgery, my leg didn't want to bend at all. It did not want to, nor would I. But once I started to have a little bit of mobility and could bend it, it was extremely, extremely stiff in the joint down this side of my foot, and just doing 10 or 20 or 30% was just, I thought, impossible. Absolutely thought it would be impossible. I would work at it, and I'm not kidding you, I'd work at it all day long because all I could do was sit. So I was constantly always working my flexion to some degree. And then I would get there, I'd get to 10. And then I'd have to start all over to try to get to 15. And it was just a constant struggle. It was incredibly stiff. But once you got there, you got there. It never ever went backwards.
At what point in the process, so the first couple months were tough, right?
Very, extremely tough.
At what point did you see like the light at the end of the tunnel, like, hey, you know, I'm gonna get my range of motion back? Like what month or what was that kind of aha moment for you?
Once I was able to, when you're doing the exercise on the ground, you know, and you're just kind of pulling your leg back a little bit, once I was cleared to do that with a little bit of force, that was when it changed.
Okay.
That was when, because when I had to do it in the chair, and all I could do was, and I had the brace on, and all I could do it was this way, I couldn't do it past my muscles' ability to pull it.
Gotcha. So if you had the ability to kind of assist your muscles, you think you would have been
I could have gotten more.
Now, was it pain that stopped you, or you just literally couldn't go any further after the first couple weeks?
Just literally would not go.
Right. So
it just won't
didn't
go.
hurt, it just wouldn't go.
Wouldn't go.
And then once we allowed you to actually start to pull on it a little bit to the point of
Yes.
slight tension,
Yes.
you felt like that's when it started to come about.
That's when I started to feel like, but it was, by that time I was around 110. And it was between 0 and 110, I might be able to get 5 degrees a week, maybe 10. But by the time it got to 120, it would be like 1 or 2 degrees. And that was an achievement. So it was really slow. And I'd say I'm only at 140, 145 now. But still, to get deeper and get into that 140, 145, I still have to work at it a little bit. I just don't automatically have it.
You said something pretty important to me when you first came in. You said to me, I'm not worried about it, I know it's going to get there.
Yes, I do believe that,
Yeah.
because that's what it's done the entire time. I remember thinking 45 was absolutely never going to happen. It was impossible, and then I got it, and now I can do 45 without even thinking.
Right. So it's just slow.
Same with
real
90.
slow.
Yeah, same with 120. So I know I'll get to one. I'll sit on my feet again. It'll just take time.
Yeah. And at 8 months, sitting back on your heels, that's one of those things that we need to be a little bit somewhat conservative with, and
Yep.
you're working towards it, and I think you're falling right in line. Doing agility work, doing started jumping today, strength work. She's got equal force output in her quads at this point at 8 months out. Measured her literally with some force today, and she's equal. It's just that little bit of stiffness at that very depth that she's most worried about, and then also taking that next step with the impact stuff, which she did well with. And then just talk to me about your swelling throughout the process after the first couple weeks. Have you had any instances as we started to build you up of kind of swelling?
I from the very beginning, I wore my compression.
Yep.
And I really never took it off all summer. These are not compression socks, but I wore compression socks all through the summer. So all through 6 months, I had compression socks on the entire time. I never, ever, ever had any swelling. It was swollen, but it just kept coming down in size.
All right. So as you started doing more, you didn't notice, like as you started the strength training, it didn't really, you didn't have an episode or any episodes where it kind of swelled up on you or anything like that?
No. The only place I would say that every once in a while I would notice is that I would take my shorter socks off and I wouldn't have an indentation here, but I might have a slight indentation on my ankle when I would take my sock off, telling me that there was slight inflammation in the ankle.
Gotcha.
But that would be about it.
Okay. So relatively speaking, no instances of increased swelling.
No, never.
Range of motion continues to slowly, gradually improve that last little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
I never had any pain.
what
Never.
what would be your hesitancy of if this process, you were going to start this process today, knowing what you know now, what would be your hesitancy to undergo the Bayer procedure again?
I wouldn't have any hesitancy.
You'd do it.
I would do it again.
Knowing
if I
that
had
the
to.
range of motion was slow and that kind of early
Yeah.
on that your function was kind of impeded,
Yeah,
you were able to kind of make it work for you.
yeah. I would
Okay.
hope I wouldn't have a meniscus because I think that
I hope you do have a meniscus.
Well, they didn't get hurt because I was on crutches for 3 months.
Right.
Because
of
I
that.
just, it atrophied so bad that I could not it's not that you guys said I had to be on crutches. It was because I truly did not have the strength to hold myself up.
Gotcha. So if we were able to give you your strength back sooner, you would feel you'd be much happier earlier on as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Anything else to add that you think is important for other people that want to go through this, or anyone that, in the whole Bayer community you think would be helpful for them as they go through this process?
It would be just to trust the process.
Trust
that
the
it
process.
will work. I'm an impatient person. I want things right away, and I think if I put in extra work, it will yield a better result, but that's not true with this. It's just the time factor, and you can't control the time. So no matter how many extra flexion exercises I did, I couldn't get past really where they say you will be in this process.
Consistency, progressively over time, you get where you want to be.
Yeah, so consistent. You have to do it every day. Oh my gosh, you have to. We can't.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing that for us.
No problem.
Cool. That was awesome.